What's one of your favorite childhood memories? Go on, think. For me, one of my favorites was riding roller coasters with my dad. When I was a little kid and my brother was too young to ride, my mom was never really a big fan of roller coasters, and my sister wasn't even born yet. Me and my dad would go on roller coasters, and I just had the best time. One of my favorite memories, which is kind of funny in retrospect, was at the Steel Eel, which is a roller coaster at SeaWorld in San Antonio. And me and my dad were riding it together. And for those of you that don't know, my dad is a pretty big guy. He's 6'5". He played football in college at UTEP. So when the little bar came down to keep us safe, naturally the bar was a little higher up when it hit my dad's legs versus, little tiny child me. And my dad was kind of nervous about that fact. He didn't think that it was safe, given that this same bar was supposed to cover this giant 6'5" man and a small child. So the whole ride, he had his arm, across my chest, trying to protect me and keep me from flying out. Little did he know that there was a seatbelt that I had put on correctly, but he had not. Was not wearing the seatbelt. So if anyone was safe in retrospect, it was me, and the unsafe person was in fact my dad. But I just really love that memory of my dad freaking out, trying to protect me, to do anything to keep me safe. Now, we have a similar kind of idea of what family means in the lectionary text that we're going to be talking about this week. Instead of going from the Gospels, we're going to be looking at this text from 1 John chapter 3. In it, the writer tells us that we are children of God. Now, I know some of you guys might not maybe have the best family experience. I hope all of you guys have a loving relationship with your parents, but some people don't. Some people fight with their parents. Some people's parents are not good parents, right? They're not fit to take care of children. But that's one of the cool things about Christianity, right? Is that it tells us throughout the Bible, but especially in this week's text, that we are children of God. We've been adopted into God's family. It's kind of like in the Fast and Furious movies, right? I don't know if you guys have seen those, but if you haven't, the whole point of these movies, right, is that it's all about Vin Diesel, Dominic Toretto's family, right? He talks all the time about how important family is to him. And his family isn't just the people he's related to biologically, but the people that he brings into his group. And a lot of times those people were his former enemies, but now they're his friends and, more importantly, his family, and he brings them in. And that's kind of what God does with us, right? God brings us in to his family, and because God is a loving and caring parent, he wants what's best for us, similar to how my dad wanted what was best for me when we were riding that roller coaster, was trying to protect me and would do anything to help see me safe and secure. And the cool thing about this, right, is that being part of God's family, that means that our sibling, God's other child, right, is Jesus. And this text tells us that one of the cool things about being in a family with God and being in relationship with God and with Jesus is that it is a process that makes us better, right? In fact, that we haven't even seen the fullest extent of just how good we can be, but that we will continue to become better by spending time with Jesus. Not only that, this text tells us that just as Jesus was a pure person, that when we spend time with him, we can become better ourselves, right? And that it's kind of like you have like a mentor or maybe a friend that is just such an amazing person that they continually inspire you to be the best version of yourself. It's not, they're telling you what to do necessarily, but it's just kind of like they're so cool that you want to raise yourself up to their level, right? They're inspiring. That's the relationship that Jesus has with us, right? So when we spend time with him, when we grow together with him, it actually makes us better people. And, it's kind of like, I don't know, you can add ketchup to anything, right? And it makes it taste better. If you add Jesus to anything, it just makes everything that much better. And we continually grow and become better people ourselves. We can overcome, the sin that we're plagued with, right? And I'm not saying that we're going to be perfect, that we're going to get everything right. We are only human after all. But we will continue to get better and better and better the more time we spend with Jesus. So let's think about this week. How are we spending our time? And what does it mean to be children of God to you, right? What does it mean that you are a child of God, to you specifically? And then as we think about that, think about what it means that everyone else is also children of God. How are we treating our fellow siblings, right? Are we treating them the way siblings should be treated, or are we treating them the way that we often do treat our real flesh and blood siblings, right? And how are we spending time with God this week? How are we spending time with Jesus in a way that can make us better?